Welcome back, Addicts, to another movie review. Today, I'm with Colton, and we're going to be talking about the newly released Slenderman movie.
And it was a flaming pile of garbage.
That's putting it mildly, I think. This movie is pretty bad. There's no suspense. I had a hard time even realizing that this was a horror movie.
It wasn't really that scary, and most...
I don't even think there was. There was a point I even laughed.
I think we were laughing the whole movie because we were making fun of it.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, this movie just felt kind of like another Bye-Bye Man. The whole, it's a virus that gets in your head. Oh, spooky.
Yeah. Which, if you guys don't know what Slenderman is, it was a game. That's all I'm going to say, because,
it was a game. It was a creepypasta.
Yeah.
If you want to watch something that's like a movie on Slenderman, I'll give you 3 suggestions. Go watch Marble Hornets, go watch Tribe 12, and go watch Everyman Hybrid. They are Slenderman series on YouTube that are better.
Yeah, well, and the thing that is probably the funniest thing to me is, they have a source material, right, but the source material isn't good at all. Like, the game is basically like a hide-and-seek horror-esque game, and there's no real substance to it. There's no... I guess people have come up with their own lore about it, but there wasn't any real lore to begin with throughout the game. And so I will say this, because there's no substance to the source material, they did have to come up with a lot of stuff, which if you play the games, or you're like Colton and was a fan of watching the lore stuff, you might be a little bit pissed because it doesn't necessarily keep in line with those certain things. The only thing that's the same is the appearance of Slenderman. Mm-hmm. But, they just kind of grasped out of the air for ideas, and unfortunately, all of the ideas they put in this movie were just really, horror stereotype stuff.
There's plot twists that didn't make sense.
Well, it's
it wasn't really that they didn't make sense, I guess. It'd be more like,
you
why
saw it
was
from
it
a mile
here?
Away. Yeah.
Well, that too. It was also why is this even here? Why is this a plot twist? Or, one of my probably favorite things, I brought to Josh while we were staying in the parking lot after the movie, was if you go and watch the Slender series on YouTube, what they've kind of established is that there's not just one Slenderman, there's multiple Slendermen, but with Marble Hornets, there's one that just kind of stalks 4 guys that are friends that originally just started doing this as a movie project. Then if you go to Everyman Hybrid, they started out as a workout channel, but what you figure out is that they follow the Everyman play, which is basically a guy who plays every character. And then there's basically just a, I guess the best way to explain it would be, then there's Tribe 12, where it's a guy who's basically Slenderman is following him around, trying to make him one of his, collective called Firebrand. And they've kind of established that there's different Slendermen, but they all are in one area. Not all in one area, but, they all kind of control their own little area.
Yeah.
Whereas this was I can go anywhere in the world and kidnap you and your parents.
Yeah, the movement of Slenderman doesn't really... To give it kind of to you short, it's like a internet version of Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
They just are oh, you watch this video, you keep your eyes closed for 3 listens, and then he appears to you in some form or fashion. And
then with the Bye-Bye Man thing that I was talking about, it's just basically oh, it gets in your head like a virus.
Yeah, which I don't know if that was necessarily they were taking elements of that movie into this, or if they were just kind of homaging it because they used it more as I know it's not really a good thing, but I think they were just using that as a metaphor for what's happening, but still though what's actually happening isn't even much better of an idea, so even seeing it as a virus could be equally as
well. Even then, the whole thing was they watched this video and then all of a sudden flashing pictures show up, and then all of a sudden it's in their brain.
Yeah, there's not really much of a concept. And they toy around with, like, they take different mythos from different settings and stuff like that, and they say, oh, it's all basically the same thing, but they really just give you flashes of it, and they don't explain it all, which is fine, you know, but it's still, I don't know, it's like, if you're not going to explain it, like, why even put it in there? Like, I don't think it was necessary, but, I mean, overall, there's, like, I don't think either of us had any moments that we really liked. There was some moments that we found comedical just because of how bad it was. The acting, even though they did have, I guess, some quote-unquote decent actors, like, not necessarily, like, D-list actors, but, I don't know, like, their performance in this felt just a little cheesy, and I don't know if that was mainly because of the writing or just, you know, what they were directed to do, but the opening line, like when the girls are talking, you just get this high school-esque conversation, and I almost died from the cringe. It was awful.
Was just bad. Because, like I was talking to Josh right before we started doing this, was recording this video, was just, I swear, it was just a bunch of old guys in a room that were like, hey, Mark, you know what I think teenage girls talk like? Here.
Yeah. And there's, like, other parts of the opening. I won't say it because, I mean, I know that our viewers are probably all ages, so I won't say it here. But
they were watching something you're not supposed to watch with your friends.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to. Like, it's like, okay, but what normal person does that? I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of things that were bad. There was, like, one scene, like I said at the beginning of this video, it was supposed to be, I guess, like, one of the scariest moments up into, like, the middle part of the movie. And I was bursting out laughing because of just how bad, one, it looked. And then two, just like, there was no suspense behind it. There was no horror behind it. It was just kind of like, oh, they just did it there. And there wasn't even a jump scare for it. It was just like, they just flashed and there it was. And they went on for like a good probably 40 seconds. And it's just a guy like making different faces. I mean, they have like CGI and stuff to make it, I guess, quote unquote, more scary. But honestly, there was, it looked like a derp face.
It looked like a bad Snapchat filter.
Yeah. I don't know. And it was, I mean, yeah, there was just so many things in this movie that was bad. I do not recommend it at all. I mean, there's a movie, as a bad, good movie, it's not one of those, but if you...
It's a meme.
Yeah, like, if it's like if you want to sit down and like, this is a perfect movie, like, if you wanted to sit down with your friends and put it on mute, and then each of you take turns saying different dialogue of what you think that person's saying, that would be an excellent game to play with this movie. But other than that, like, if you're wanting to take it seriously, I highly doubt you would even like this, unless maybe you don't know what Slenderman is at all. Maybe you might like it, but I still think, like, the acting and then, like, the plot elements are just too bad for you to even enjoy it.
I'll tell you this much. The one person that's good acting is a guy whose daughter disappears at the very beginning of the movie.
Yes.
And he's barely in it. He's in it for, like, maybe 30 seconds overall.
Yeah, which is saying a lot, because... of a side character, it's like a side of a side character, and you're like, wow, that was the only believable performance I saw out of the whole thing. But, I mean, that's basically all we got to say about it. We're actually going to be recording our podcast, so we'll probably talk more about it there. If you want to check that out. We also have our other social media accounts that you can follow. And as always, keep up to date with our YouTube as we're going to come out with more content. So we'll just see you guys later.